I'm going to run through this problem here, which is just looking for the order and linearity of the differential equations listed. So first we're going to start by classifying by order. So to do so, you're just going to look for the highest degree derivative in the equation. So let's take a look at the first one. Here you have a second derivative and a first derivative, which means that your highest derivative is the second, so your order is second. Now let's look at the second one. Your highest degree derivative here is the first, which means that you're going to be first order for this equation. Now let's look at the third one. You again have a second derivative and a first derivative. Therefore, your highest derivative is the second, so it's second order. Now let's look at the fourth. Your highest derivative is the fourth, so you're fourth order. Okay, so now we're going to determine the linearity of each of these equations. For a differential equation to be linear, the dependent variable y and all of its derivatives must be linear. So another thing you have to keep in mind is that the dependent variable y and all of its derivatives must also only be raised to the first power. However, the independent variable, x or t in this situation, can be raised to any power and essentially just serves as a coefficient. Okay, so let's take a look at the first problem. This one is going to be linear. Note that the first term has t raised to the second power. Since t is the independent variable, it does not matter that it is raised to a power other than the first. This term is linear and this term is linear, so let's take a look at the sine t. Sine itself is not a linear function, so you might assume that this would make the equation nonlinear. That would be incorrect reasoning here because the sine function does not apply to the dependent variable y. It's acting with t, which is the independent variable, not the dependent variable, which means that this equation is going to be linear. Okay, so moving on, let's look at the second one. The second one is nonlinear because this term has y raised to the second power. As you recall from earlier, we mentioned that y and all of its derivatives must be raised to the first power. Since this is raised to the second, that means that this is a nonlinear equation. Okay, let's take a look at the third one. This one is going to be nonlinear because you have the 1 plus y squared multiplied by this derivative here. Since there's a product between the y and the derivative here, that's going to make this nonlinear. Now let's look at the fourth one. This one is going to be linear because every term involving y or its derivative is linear. Okay, so here we have it. We've figured out each question, whether we uncovered the order and linearity of each of these. Another just side note here would be that for the second question, just as a practice thing, I figured out the general solution to this. So if you want to take a look at that just for some extra practice while you're studying for the exam, we have that here. Okay, well, good luck everybody. Thanks for watching.